Yeah, and let me just say this too. Muslims are as different as people are different. And there's no question that you have plenty of Muslims out there. They're wonderful neighbors, they're kind, hospitable, loving people. If you simply are honest with history, if you look at the life of Muhammad, as well as his earliest followers, as written by the earliest, most reliable Muslim scholars, then you will see that what ISIS is doing in their brutal, bloody blitzkrieg across the Middle East, it's identical, it's virtually identical to what Muhammad and his earliest followers did in the 7th century. Within 10 years after Muhammad died, and his general Khalid ibn al-Walid and his successors Abu Bakr swept out of Mecca, out of Arabia, up into Syria and Iraq, within 10 years, over 1 million Christians were slaughtered. You had tens and hundreds of thousands of women that had been marched back to Mecca as slaves. The ancient heart of the Christian church was ripped out. You look at the capitals, the missionary-sending capitals of the ancient church: Ephesus, Antioch, Alexandria, Jerusalem. They were conquered by the Islamic conquest. And what we're seeing today, and no one wants to say it, our president says that the Islamic State has nothing to do with Islam. You know, they're not Mormons. They're not Scientologists. It is identical, and they are following the script and the pattern and the model of what Muhammad and the earliest Muslims did. Now again, not all Muslims are wanting to cut your head off. Let's be clear. Many Muslims are good people because they follow the fact Muslims are created in the image of God just like everybody else. They're following their God-given conscience over and above the Quran and the example of Muhammad. And so, yes, that is Islam, but we want to be clear. And because this is an important message. If the church is to rise to meet the challenge of Islam, we have to overcome fear, and we have to learn how to have God's heart of love for Muslims. And we have to learn how to love our enemies, and that is a difficult call when your enemies are cutting off your friends' heads. But yet when you look at the Apostle Paul, who was Saul, he was standing there holding the cloaks and giving approval and blessing those that were stoning Stephen, this shining young disciple of Jesus, in the streets of Jerusalem as they're crushing him with rocks, and he's blessing that. And then the Lord went on to use him to write epistles and write most of the New Testament. Now, can the church walk in that type of spirit that says, yes, we will receive you and forgive you and to become an apostle? But that's the type of faith we're going to need if we're going to rise to meet the challenges of the days ahead.
Wow.